Yo, what up? And today I'm finally doing the last part of my Germany trip, and this time I was not in Berlin but in Dortmund. And there's a reason for this whole trip, and the reason was that I wanted to go to Pokemon Go Fest. The Pokemon Go Fest usually takes place in summer, and because I started to play Pokemon Go in February and became quite obsessed with it, I decided just on a whim that I wanted to go to Go Fest that was taking place in Dortmund. So for anybody who doesn't know, Pokemon Go Fest usually happens in summer, and there have been several places where it has taken place before. So this summer it was in June, there was Go Fest in Chicago. Then in July the Go Fest was in Dortmund, and in August it was in Yokohama. And you could get tickets there by entering a lottery, and I wasn't planning on going because I had only played the game for 4 months. When the ticket drawing happened, I just entered for fun, and at first I didn't get it, but people started getting their chance to buy tickets, and I was like, whatever, let's do it. So I asked one of the players who got the chance of buying the tickets if he could buy me one, and he did. I obviously paid him back, and after that I actually won a chance to buy them myself, but I already had tickets, so I just one evening at 10 p.m. I bought my ticket to Germany on plane, and bought the hotel and the train tickets, because I thought that I didn't want to go to just Dortmund for the event, because I thought that it wouldn't justify the money that I was going to spend. So I thought that I would go to Berlin for a couple of days, then take a train to Dortmund, which is about 3 hours, play the game there on the day that I had tickets, and then come back to Berlin, spend some time in Berlin again, and then come home. So this is what I did. I booked all my tickets, I booked my hotel, and as you maybe have seen, the couple of days I spent in Berlin were really good. But the Friday was reserved for Dortmund, so I had to get up really early, and you can see how I was feeling here. Good morning. It's currently 5:30 in the morning, and I'm at the Berlin Central Station waiting for my train to go to Dortmund for the Pokemon summer days. And I'm currently very sleepy and contemplating my life choices. My train is now 10 minutes away, which is good. And now I'll have to figure out where to sit, because everything on my ticket is in German, and I can't figure out what they have shortened the words, so I have no idea what the words mean. I'll try to find somebody who knows German. But yes, that's the situation right now. So coffee, but I hope today will be a good day. So as you saw, I was super sleepy, but I had reserved tickets in first class, I think. So the travel was really nice. The train had Wi-Fi. I had reserved the seats, so I didn't have any trouble with seating. And the only trouble I would say that I had during the trip to Dortmund was when I got to the Dortmund station. I'm inside and there's 2 minutes to spare. I was so worried that I wouldn't be here on time, because there was a 20-minute line to get the tickets to the city transport, and then It only took cash, which I didn't know. The card one broke, so I was like, do I have to do it all again? But then one lady gave me €2 and I had €1 for myself. So I got to buy my ticket, and I gave her a small chocolate that I had with me as a thanks. So yay, here I am, and there are so many people. And now I'm going to close this down and play the game. The Dortmund Go Fest took place in Westfalen Park, and the park is really huge. I'm going to insert the map here. As you see from the map, it had several different areas like the steel factory, the haunted forest, etc. I was alone, and well, not alone, there were around 15,000 tickets for one day were sold, so there were a lot of people there, and that means that there was always going to be problems with the network connection. For the first 20 minutes I could play just fine. I arrived a little before 10 to the park. I got in and I got my Pokemon Go Fest wristband, which I'm going to keep as a nice memory. There's 2019 written here. And I got to the park, I caught some Pokemon, and then the network went down. And the network went down for about an hour and a half for me. So that means I was just walking around the park, like desperately refreshing the game. And my network provider was apparently one of the worst, and I couldn't switch to another one manually. So this was just like trudging around, walking, and just not getting anywhere. So I was pretty upset by that, but I think most of the people there were having troubles, except for some German people who had another carrier which was working somewhat fine. So around 12 the network came back, and I could catch Pokemon for, I would say, nice solid 2.5 hours, at which point I felt quite hungry, and again, like it had happened in the train station, it meant that you could only pay in cash, which I didn't have because Estonia is, I would say most people use cards here, so paying by cash is it's not uncommon, but most people prefer cards, as do I. So I thought that I wanted to eat something. I had packed the lunch, but I wanted to have something warm there. And the only place where you could get money was from 2 ATMs, out of which one was out of cash by that time. So I went to the entrance, and from there was this like big line, about 30 people who were just standing to get money. They still had spawns, so I could still catch some Flower Crown Eevees and Pikachus, unfortunately not shinies. But yes, there was stuff to do, but it was still like, if you want to catch a lot of Pokemon, you have to move, because you want the spawns to go off again, not to just wait for one spawn to spawn, but using all the different lured Pokestops that the whole park was full of. Anyway, I got my money, I got my food, I went to the water biome, and I had my lunch and found a water station, which was really cool that they had water stations, and then stations where you could charge your phones and bags. Memory. Really nice that you had access to free water all the time because it was at first it was a bit cloudy, but then it got really sunny and it was really hot. And it was also nice that the people running the whole thing were reminding you to stay hydrated, to use sunscreen and stuff like that. Although at the end of the Go Fest, I saw a lot of people who were really burned, like crab red. So I felt sorry for them. I managed to escape it because I had my sunscreen and I did stay hydrated. So what could you do there? There were different kinds of areas, like I already mentioned, where you could get specific Pokemon, but they also had team tents. So you could play games there and you could win t-shirts, but I didn't know you could win t-shirts, so I didn't really venture into the Mystic tent, but I was grinding at the water biome, which was really close to the Instinct tent, and the Instinct tent people who were hosting the thing were insane. So they kept chanting all the time, and it was absolutely insane. Can you hear it? Okay, so in addition to taking part of games and just catching Pokemon all over the really big park, you could also trade. And for me, who has started playing the game really late, it meant I was missing a lot of Pokemon, older Pokemon and regionals. And at first I thought that I wouldn't participate in trading because I didn't have anything nice to trade. But then I thought that what the heck, I'm going to try it out. And you could go to the trading station and you could get these kinds of plaques, and you could write what you were looking for, and on the other side you could then write what you were offering. And like you can see, only thing I could offer was shinies. I didn't have any regionals. Well, I had mine, but that everybody in Europe had it, so that's not really something you can trade. And then the other side, you could write whatever you wanted. And as you can see, I have crossed out two, and these are the two Pokemon that I actually got. The fair was, trading fair was reduced because they knew that people were new and they probably didn't have the ultra or best friend level for trading. And if you want to trade with somebody who is just a good friend, it would take 1 million Stardust to trade. And I had grinded really hard to get to 500,000 Stardust. Well, I had 600,000, and I knew that I could trade for one regional, like for a special trade. And the first special trade was chatted. I first found a person from Brazil who wanted to trade me, but we had trouble. It was saying that it was 1 million Stardust, which was weird, and we tried to get the trading thing to work, and it ended, I think I offered him Maril, shiny Maril for Chatot, and we couldn't get it to work. We agreed to meet later, but at the end, by something he said, I realized that he didn't have a ticket for that account that he was trying to trade with me, so that trade wouldn't have happened because he didn't have 1 million Stardust. So that was kind of a disappointment. But I actually found Chatot with just walking around trading, and then I heard two guys talking behind me. One was asking like, "Oh, do you still have Chatot left? I think I have a few spare ones." And I was like, "Are they talking about like my plank? Am I going to get something?" And yeah, then this guy tapped me and was like, do you want chatted? I have it, like, just give me a legendary for it, no matter what type, because he said that he hates that people are trying to rip people off by wanting something really special for quite easily found regional, which apparently chatted is. And so I got to trade with him for chatted, and since it was a regional, and I gave him just the altered form Giratina. It was only like, I don't know, 20,000 or something like that. It didn't cost a lot at all. So I got myself a chatted. Yay! And I was already like riding high on it, but then somebody near who heard that I had traded something was like, oh, you want Relicanth or Tropius? I wasn't really sure. He was like, oh, my friend has it. And these were two guys from Hong Kong. And as I understood, the other guy wasn't like hardcore player. So his friends were like meditating the trade for me and him, and he was like, oh yeah, I have 2 Relicanth, do you want one? And if you play the game, you know that Relicanth is very hard to get because it's only in New Zealand, and he was asking me about shinies, and I said that I have a Mesprit, do you want that one? And he was like, yeah, I'm missing it. So I gave his friend a Mesprit for Relicanth. But it's such an insane trade in my opinion, because Mesprit was a regional in Europe, and in Asia they had Uxie, and everyone who were in that park who were from Europe had Mesprit. And I got to exchange Mesprit for Relicanth. That's insane. That's like, I was so happy. And yeah, this was already like super good. And because I didn't have Relicanth and he didn't have Mesprit, this was the trading that cost me 500,000 Stardust, but it was so worth it. I was so happy, you have no idea. So actually getting this plank really paid off. And some other things that I got from there were these 2 masks of Pikachu and Eevee for the new game, Pokemon Sword and Shield that came out, but as you can see they are both missing their ear because the train that we took back after the Go Fest was so full that it was just, yeah, it broke my things. But yeah, you could like make it as a hat and wear it there, and a lot of people were wearing it. So yes, now for the last thing were the shinies. So everybody who went there went for basically 3 things. First, we got to catch a regional that is usually in Central America and Florida, which is Carnivine. And I got, I think, 18 of them. And people were telling that, yeah, they were surprised that there weren't that many spawns of that, but 18 is really nice. I got some candies, and so I have trading material for a regional that is not so common here. The other thing that people went there was unknowns. So the letters which spelled wake up and exclamation point. I got several of those, each of it, which I got about 8 or 6, so I have a lot of them in my bag. And the third reason people went there was to get the shinies. I think there are a couple of reasons why I wasn't that lucky with shinies. First reason is that I couldn't played for about 2 hours out of the 8-hour window there. First 1.5 hours my game was down, and then it took about half an hour for me to get money from ATM, so I would say that about 2 hours I wasn't playing. Now the second reason why I didn't get a lot of shinies were because I was hunting special shinies that I wanted. So that means that I wasn't catching everything. It was just kind of exhausting to just catch everything, and my gacha wasn't working because of the network troubles, because so many people were using the network there. So my gacha wasn't working, and I wasn't catching everything because there are some shinies that I wasn't just interested in. Like I wasn't catching Piglet, I wasn't catching Machamp, I wasn't catching a lot of like Geodudes and Kabutos and things like that. But the first shiny that I got was Phoebus, and I was super happy about it because I wanted it for so long, and you can see that I have already evolved it into Milotic. And I think it's such a pretty one, and I got it about 15 minutes in, so I felt like, oh yeah, I'm already satisfied. The second shiny that I got was Magnemite, and then two more shinies that were in the same area, the steel area, were Aron and Mavil. And in addition to getting Mavil as a shiny, I got level 1 Mavil because I'm collecting level 1 Pokemon, so that was really big deal because usually it's a raid boss or you get it from an egg, so that means their CP is higher, level is higher, but I got a level 1. So I was really happy about it. Then because I was really trying to get a shiny Wailmer and shiny Nidoran, and I was interested in a lot of water shinies, I was grinding for the last 2 hours in the water biome, but I only got shiny Clamperl for it, which is fine, but I already had one, so... And then my one of my eggs hatched. I got a shiny Honorith, which is, it's fine, it's for trading. Last shiny that I got was something that I filmed, but my video of it, of me playing it and all the stops that were there, I deleted it. I don't know how, but yes, I got the shiny Aerodactyl. I was super happy about that as well, because I know people have been grinding to get it. And that was that. Those were all my shinies. I know a lot of people got like 20 shinies out of it, or 26, 27, but I only got those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shinies, and I'm not disappointed. I got the ones that I wanted. I enjoyed the experience, and I was super satisfied with my 2 traded Pokemon, Relicanth and Chatot as well. So for me, it was definitely an amazing experience, as you can see here. I am so tired. Right now I'm somewhere. I have to change trains, and then I can go to Berlin. Oh, I'm in Hum. I don't know what else to say. It was very tiring, but it was great to see so many people who are into the same things as you are, and people were very friendly, and it was a great experience. I think I would like to do it again. We'll see. Okay. And this was it for my Pokemon Go Fest. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was money well spent. And despite the network troubles and the weather being quite hot, I definitely want to do it again. And I've been thinking if I have the means, maybe next year I could go to Japan, wherever the Go Fest will take place, but it will depend if I get tickets or not and what my financial situation will be. But yes, I'm completely in love with the game. I'm in love with the community aspect of it, and I just want to catch a lot of Pokemon. So yes, I would say that my trip to Germany was really great, amazing, all the things. I hope this was interesting for you. If you like this, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And see you next time, whenever that is. Bye!